our classical studies section is for grades 2 through 6, and it is based on the Claritas program. This is cycle 1 of the Claritas program, and students will be memorizing the material that's in this book. In each week, this is, for example, week 9, there is a timeline piece that goes across the top of the page. So this one has Constantine and the Edict of Milan, the First Council of Nicaea, 325 AD, St. Augustine of Hippo, St. Jerome completes the Vulgate, barbarians invade, Rome sacked, St. Patrick brings Christianity to Ireland, the Council of Chalcedon, and Attila the Hun defeated. Each section is different. So if we go to week 10, it'll continue from there, and it'll do the next few points on the timeline. Then there's English grammar, 4-sentence purposes, declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory. Math, the squares from 1 squared to 15 squared, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144, 169, 196, 225. The cubes from 1 cubed to 10 cubed, 1, 8, 27, 64, 125, 216, 343, 512, 729, 1000. Science, parts of a plant, leaf, stem, root, flower, fruit. Scripture, there's one particular verse that's highlighted as in this longer passage, which is the 10 Commandments. This particular week, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land the Lord your God is giving you, is the highlighted verse. History, tell me about the middle and new kingdoms of Egypt. The Hyksos attacked and defeated Egypt, ending the middle kingdom. 100 years later, Egyptian princes rebelled, beginning the new kingdom of Egypt. And then a hymn. This is Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. This is verse 4. They've spent 4 weeks, and now this is the last week for that particular hymn. Geography, more ancient China, the Yellow Sea, the Qingling Mountains, South China Sea, and the Great Wall. And Latin, case order, nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative, and vocative. So this is what they would be memorizing in 1 week. Now, if you felt intimidated, I totally understand, because when children first start, they don't memorize everything. They go through everything, and they just memorize the things that were set to the most interesting music, or whatever it is that they particularly like. But over time, you'll notice about like 6 months after they start a memorization program, their brains suddenly start to just memorize. They just come out of class saying, oh, I already know that. And you're like, what? So this very meaty memorization just starts to get broken down into small chunks, and you're like, oh, yeah, I already knew that. And, it goes. This is meant to cover grades 2 through 6. So by the time a student has done this, even possibly starting as early as age 4, although we don't offer that here, but age 4, age 5, age 6, age 7, they've gone through this material. Well, they need more by the time they get to age 8. So don't be intimidated. The goal is never, with the memorization program, the goal is never that they do everything perfectly the first time. The goal is that they work up to it over time. So, for example, the math is the same each year. So once they get to the second year, they're going to be, oh, yeah, I remember that I did this last year. And they remember a little bit from the previous year and so on. English grammar actually also has a more difficult English grammar that is also an option, and I believe it's the same every 2 years. So anyway, this is just, it seems like a lot at first, but the goal, again, is not that they perfectly memorize. The goal is that they begin and that they work at it, and it teaches them to memorize, which is an incredible, incredible thing for the rest of their lives. This is the map booklet for Cycle 1, and in here it gives maps where they can practice what they've been learning about their geographical points. On one side it has labels, and on the other side it has a blank area. Other side, it has a blank area where they can practice writing the things that were labeled on this side. And what else? This course obviously touches on many other subjects. For our science, we will be going into the things that they have been memorizing. a little bit more for grades 2 to 4, and then grades 5 and 6 are studying with the middle school for their science, and they can certainly go over some of the science facts that this is covering at home, but they will be going more in depth with life science. And then for history, this ties in with their story of the world, which grades 2 through 6 are all doing. And so forth. It has a lot of tie-ins to other parts of their schoolwork. So this is going to be a fantastic course. And also there are CDs that you can order, and the CDs have songs for the majority of this work, so they can sing their way in the car or whatever. You may want to have CDs. Then also there's flashcards, which you do have to cut out and laminate. So there is some work involved in that, but that's an option as well. And then there are also videos, which are provided through Cross 7, which is an organization that asks for permission to use this material and create videos. We'll be using the videos to present the material in our classroom time at Next Education, and parents then can see exactly what we did and exactly how we did it, and exactly whatever it was, the picture that was in the video, whatever. Parents will have access to that at home. I believe the subscription is about $4 a month, if I remember right. So that will be a really great thing. You would get cycle 1 for all this material. Make sure that it's cycle 1, because there's 4 different time periods. This is the Ancients, it's cycle 1. So that's Classical Studies, grades 2 to 6 for 2017-2018 at Next Education.